Hello, everybody. Welcome back to OCD Hi-Fi Guy. This is Mikey, your OCD Hi-Fi squirrel, ready to jump around the cage and my little treadmill wheel thing. Actually, it'd probably do me some good to get on a damn treadmill now that I think about it. Okay, so I've got something cool to show you guys, okay? And it's not what we're looking at, even though that is really cool. And it's not even those Danny Ritchie subs there that are open baffle and servo controlled, which is really cool. It is something that threatens to take away the word MAGNEPAN from my vocabulary. And whoops, went the wrong way there. And what it is we've got some new speakers in the house. And these things are 7 foot tall, so they definitely bigger than the Maggies. They're made in Greece and they're called Analysis Audio, and these are called the Amphitryon. It says they're top of the line before it hits 2-panel. And 2-panel, all they do is they just add a bass panel to this deal. Look, you can even see, can we see through that? Can you see that? That's cool. There's a nice vantage point. You can see through to the edges and you see how that's the ribbon in the middle. Those are the ribbons. These are legit ribbons, okay? So these are the real metal ribbons all the way through. It's not a quadratic thing like MAGNEPAN uses with membrane or whatever. There might be some in there utilized, but it's look, these things compared to MAGNEPAN is like comparing these would be industrial grade, MAGNEPAN would be consumer grade. These are definitely of a higher build quality without a question. First of all, this damn thing I almost could not carry it with Big John, and I were carrying one of these in here. And I didn't even have to use my arm muscle. I just had to keep my arm straight, like, and hold. And I almost could not hold the thing after, like, walking it into the room. It was like I had a very short distance I could go before my arm was going to give out. These are, I think, 165 pounds or something like that, or higher. They're obnoxiously heavy. So that means that this baffle is way heavier and way more stout and solid than the MAGNEPANs are. This thing is at least twice the weight. So the reason that's good is because that means none of the vibration from the ribbon is going to transfer into this baffle. This baffle is like inert. The sound is going to come out of here, and it's not going to go into, there's no vibration to speak of. If we go up to that, put our hand on it while it's playing, there's hardly any vibration. So now let's see what we see when we come closer. Yeah, you can still see through. Let me see if we'll see it better from the back. But you can see this is the magnetic part. This is a steel grate that has neodymium magnets. This thing is all neo magnets. Okay, MAGNEPAN uses ferrite. It's not neo. Neo is much more expensive. It's a much higher Gauss, meaning it's much it's much more magnetic. So speakers sound best. The more magnetic they are, the better they sound, okay? So the higher Gauss you make on that thing, that's why they use some, field coils, because they plug that in. It's electromagnet to make it real strong. Here you can see, here's the tweeter, okay? So if you look close, if you know MAGNEPAN, that's 3 MAGNEPAN tweeters right in there. We've got 3 of them together, and this makes the one tweeter for these guys. Well, let's see. Let's go around to the back. Also, by the way, this main panel, we can see it here a little bit, it's on a rubber surround. Okay, MAGNEPANs do not do that. That means this panel has more excursion ability because it has rubber. It's mounted, isolated on rubber. It's hanging in rubber. It can move like that. The Maggie is a rigid mount, and every other one is. I don't know. Actually, these guys claim they're the only one that has the rubber suspension. Okay. Now, if we come back here, let's try and look. Okay, see that ribbon? See the little crinkled ribbon in there? Like the kind of looks like the Maggie tweeter would. Okay, these are big. These are, let's see, it looks like they're they're not half inch. They're, maybe, I'm trying to determine. That could be a quarter or something. Anyway, so they're fat, okay? Let's say that they're fat. They're fatter than what's in the Maggies. Let me see if I can get another good image of that. There you go. I mean, you can, let's see. Try and focus in there. No, it's not working. Try a closer one. Let's see. Trying to get, there you go. Okay, there we go. See that puppy in there? That is serious, man. That is serious. And they're all lined up. These right here, this black thing right here, this is the Neo magnet. Okay, and they're in chunks. You can see the stops right. Where are we? Okay, so it stops right there. Yeah, they're just they're neo magnets, and they're wicked ribbons. These things are not like a Magnepan, man. This is a Magnepan on steroids. It's a whole different ball game. Okay, so if we go back, let's see, and we go, there we go. We can look at the back side of this thing. It's 7 feet tall. Okay, so like, I can't, if I stand next to it, I'm standing next to it, I'm reaching my arm up. I can't even touch the top of it. I mean, I don't know. I'm 5 foot. I'm 5 foot. I'm kidding, but I'm short. I'm like whatever, 5'8" or something, 5'9", 5'10". Anyway, I'd have to tippy toe to get my hand up to the top of that puppy. So this extremely long ass tweeter, that makes the Magnepan 60-inch tweeter look ridiculous. This is like a 80-inch tweeter. So this is a true point source, like from the floor all the way to the ceiling. We've got a driver surface. Okay, so they came with these outboard crossovers. Okay, and inside here we had to redo them. If you see that coil, this thing was broken and it was just loose coil, kinda. They've got shitty caps in here. I mean, they're whatever. They're Mundorf, but they're nothing like I would put in. I mean, so, I'll redo this if I use it. But the thing is, I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to use it at all. I'm not going to use it. I'm going to use the active crossover. I'm going to use the one that the four-way that we have. And then none of this will be here. And then we'll put straight amplifier straight to here, which goes straight to the panel. And we're going to use the Danny Ritchie stack here with the loose plate back here to extract the low frequency. Okay, because these things here, there's no question they do 20 hertz. Like, these things have so much bass, it's sick. I mean, you listen to it and it's incredible. But it's still doing the bass in the same area that it's doing the other stuff. So I never like that. I don't want to share. Bass is like, and especially low bass is on a speaker. It means excursion. It means movement because it's a big wavelength. I don't want all that movement along with my mid range, my mid bass and stuff like that. So by removing, I'm gonna say, let's see. We're going to start at 100 with different slopes, maybe 80. We'll start at 80 and try different slopes, but it's going to be between 80 and 50, my guess would be, for the low pass on this. And we're going to take that out of the driver, out of the main panel, and we're going to put it over here in these servo drive subs. That will free this thing up to be much higher performance. I mean, even though it's full frequency spectrum right now, I just know it just doesn't sound, I know it can get better, okay? I just know this. By the way, when we first plug these in, okay, you're seeing us, this is 6 or 8 hours of tweaking to get them to this stage here. When we first put them in, they sounded absolute crap. And I kind of expected it. Magnepan, same way. You put a stock Magnepan in, it sounds horrible. Because they are horrible. They need to be modified. Just like these, they must be modified. And it's nothing heavy. It's not like, you're going in and doing surgery. It's just like, you just have to dial them in. It's really, I guess that's a better way to say it is they need to be dialed in and tweaked and tuned. And that will now, okay, so we did this for a stock unit. This is, I would have redone the crossovers, but that would have been it if I was keeping it that way. Now, we are going to take, where did it go? Okay, this thing, which is normally you can't normally see this, but here is our four-way. Okay, this is the four-way, completely discrete, balanced, so that's differential. That's why there's four of these rails, you will, if they look like rails, per speaker, per driver. Because you've got two signals and you've got two, for left and right, you've got a positive and a negative and then a ground. So each one there's two signal paths for every normal one signal path on this. Because it's balanced. So on the back, you'll see it's only XLRs. There's no RCAs because it can't even put RCAs through there. Okay, so and that's how this whole rig is. It's differential front to back for noise purpose. If you do your rig in differential, that means balanced. It's a true differential. There's a difference between having balanced connectors on the back and between being differential. If you have it truly differential, or even if you have if it's done really balanced, you're never going to have a hum, okay? You use single-ended, you're going to run into all sorts of hums, shit like that, and it's a pain in the butt. And so in order to eliminate that, I just never use RCA. I only use XLR, and that's just a personal choice. So we're going to put this back in, and we're going to take the low lows out of here and put them over here. And I should play them the way they are, like this for you right now, so you can hear the difference. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so now, even though we have all this stuff here, we're not going to be using the Nat amps. We'll use this. Come on. Start. Yep, there we go. Okay, so we're using the Nat preamp. We're using one channel from each of the Jeff Rollins. We've got our DAC, which we'll use APL for now, but I don't think I've given APL much of a challenge lately. So I'm going to make her prove herself by throwing some other stuff at her and see if we can shake her up a little bit. The aesthetics is right here. After our last test, I think it's kind of like got its butt kicked. So in order to step the game up a little on that one, I am going to change out to some NOS tubes, some real highfalutin tubes. And also, their newer ones, they changed their caps inside there. They've got some capacitor banks. And so I will most likely change up the capacitor banks and give them Jupiter caps. Right now they have, what were they again? I can't remember, but they're metallized polypropylene. I'll put in some serious real foils in there and see what happens. Okay, and so then all we'll need is the Jeff Rollins. There's two channels here, and then the subs are on a plate amp. So we only need 3 channels now because they're not. These are 2-way instead of 3-way like the Maggies. So the Roland is going to power these. Okay, that's the only thing I will consider for this is the Jeff Roland. I use Jeff Roland when I know I don't want to mess around. I want it to be done right, and I want to. If it's going to be done right and it's going to be done well and it's going to be controlled, then Roland is my choice, okay? These things, while they're fun and they sound great and everything, and they're all ethereal sounding and everything, they're the antithesis of control and stuff. They're just kind of that whimsically flow the music out. It sounds great, but it is not an instrument the way this is. It's also, this is an instrument, but this is a real instrument that you can like synchronize your clock or your watch to, it's like that precise. These are not precise. These float, different parameters float and stuff. This is precise. So I just love to have Jeff Rollins solid state. It's going to be cool to have what we'll have. These will be out of here, even though these look so cool with this. When you step into this room and you feel what the feeling is like with these black things, it's like we're looking at a blown Corvette, man. I mean, this is so manly and macho in here, it's not even funny. These things are just sick with this is the black and everything with these in here, man. They look so good. But I'm going to have to pull them out. And hey, Jeff's amps are Mach too. These are going to come out front. And they'll be on their stands here, and so it will have one Roland per side. These are 625 S2s. They are 350 watts per channel. So we're going to have 700 watts of Jeff Roland at 8 ohm. These are not 8 ohm, so we're going to have like 1,000 watts basically, 1,000 watts per panel. It's going to be divided between the mid and the woofer and the tweet, and then this will run off its own amp. This back there, the plate amp. And the plate amp's like, I don't know, that's maybe another 600. So we'll have like 1,600 watts per side, roughly, maybe 1,500 to say, 1,500 per side, and very well controlled. It's going to take a nice leap trust me, once we divide it all up. The way you're hearing it now is I've got one side of this Roland. Like, okay, so we could actually have one Roland in the middle here, one 625 S2, powering these towers into oblivion. We're not even using these things right now. All we're doing is using these panels with the crossover from the factory, and we're going into one side of this Jeff Roland, and then it's going up to the DAC, okay? Or it's going to the preamp, and then then it's going up to the DAC because we're controlling the volume here. Okay, so, and then this side, same thing, just half of this amp. So we could just use one of these amps and then go in on the left channel and the right channel, but these are closer this way for wiring, so I just did one channel there, one channel there. But Jeff Roland's 625S2 could easily, on its own, throttle a pair of these and going all the way down to 20 hertz, man. I mean, wait till you hear the bass and just realize one of these is taking care of that, just two channels. So this is where Jeff really shines. This is where you really get to see what Roland does. And this is where he comes to play. There's no other amplifier in my setup here that is capable of doing what I'm about to do with the Jeff Roland amps. And this is where he excels. This is why I always have Jeff Roland in my rig somewhere, or in the, I have it nearby, because when it's needed, it takes care of the job like no other. I can play with all the tube stuff and everything and have fun, but when it becomes business, I pull out the Jeff Roland and it's business. And one of these 625S2s could do exactly what we're listening to right now, because again, I'm only using half of each. So we'll let these warm up a little bit, because these take a second to warm up, and get nice. Yep, we got the preamp on, so we're ready to roll. It's much nicer to be able to only click a few buttons than have to click 15. And I can't wait to clean up this damn rack. Oh, this room's going to be killer when we finally get around to it. So you guys know, when I look at this room, okay, and I'm in here with my rig, I'm looking at what I know is about 2 years worth of work. Okay, that's what I'm seeing. When I look here, I know I've got 2 more years to get it to where I want it. Okay, and that means because like a proper beautiful room that is like high level of decor, and I will have a rug here that is going to be a custom rug that's going to have something that I design, and it will have all this clutter and crap that's in here. All of this will be gone. This is all stuff that I'm just using till I get this set up. Till I get the room set up. All this crap in the corners, those will be gone. That Studer tape machine will be up over here in this corner. We'll have probably some tapes on the wall. This, I might lose this whole thing and just put a lower rack in the middle once I have it honed down to what I want. I don't need to store all this crap in here. I can store it in the closet back here or wherever. But we will clean this room up, and you will really get, it will be a high level showroom. Right now, it's still we're just still getting things straight. I still have to implement the grounding, the big transformers back in there. There's some neat features that I built into this room that we're not even taking advantage of right now. So I just wanted to bring you up to speed. I'm going to go ahead and get these things ready to go, and we'll play you some music now so you can hear what it's like. And this will exemplify to you the best that I can get Amphitrions dialed into this room with the gear that I have in stock form. Okay, and then from there we're going to depart from stock form, and we're going to go into active crossover, and I'll show you how much farther I can take it. Okay, and so this is for anybody considering my services to help get your rig set up. I can set up a rig in your room that will sound just like this or very close, because I tune everything the same way. I always tune the same way. I've got one way I tune, and it's to rock and roll, baby. So anyways, okay, so that's that, and I will see you